that our usual go live time at Sydney time 9:30 a.m. has obviously been pushed back by 15 minutes. And yeah, I almost went, oh, bugger it, I'll just leave it till Monday. But then I thought, no, it's all about the discipline, it's all about the intention, and it's all about making sure that I share with you the things that I know that work in this space of networking. So we're here. We're absolutely here. Now, if you are watching us on YouTube and you're loving what you hear, and if you really like what you hear by the end of this short video, then please subscribe to my channel and even press the bell so that you get announcements as we load up new videos. We are continually adding new content to our YouTube channel over and above these live streams. And if you want to hear even more, if you want to actually connect with people around the world, your fellow entrepreneurs and business owners, if you want to share skills, and if you want to download lots of learning units and have the chance to connect with me personally, I've actually developed a Facebook group called Networking Skills for Entrepreneurs, and I'd love to see you over there. You'll notice today that we can't bring the graphic up, so if you just jump over to Facebook, either search me, Janine Garner, or search Networking Skills for Entrepreneurs, you'll find that group, and I would love to see you there. So today, what are we going to talk about today? Well, today I want to talk about the 3 stages of your networking effectiveness. That's right. In my mind, there are 3 stages of networking effectiveness. And I invite you to get curious as to where you're currently at. Because as with everything in life, whether we are trying to improve and build our business, whether we're trying to learn a new skill, whether we're trying to be better human beings, whatever that means, it is a continuous learning exercise. And getting an understanding of where you're currently at is always the first part, so that you can then explore how to get better. Now, whether you like networking or not, whether you're one of those people that jumps up and down with excitement at the chance to connect with a whole heap of people, whether it be online or going to networking events, or whether you're one of those people that it's almost like vomit in your mouth at the thought of having to go to networking events. Wherever you sit on that scale, the reality is that right now, networking actually matters more than ever. It actually matters more than ever. The world that we are in has evolved. It has changed. We are living in a world that is currently throwing at us left, right, and center so many adaptive challenges where each and every single one of us, no matter the scale of our business, is having to navigate this ever-changing world. A world that is challenging us economically, a world that is challenging us socially, and a world that is challenging us all from a health perspective. So we've got these huge macro challenges which naturally filter down into me sat here in Sydney. How can I serve my clients better? How can I get my work out there? How can I deliver my work? So all of us are being challenged in terms of how we are growing and how we are scaling. And with that challenge, it actually means that we're all having to evolve our skills. In the words of Marshall Goldsmith, what got us here won't actually get us there. And I see that the skills that we need moving forward are very much skills around curiosity, a continuous questioning about how can I do this differently? How can I experiment more? I was actually talking with a private client yesterday about, instead of trying to fixate on the specific steps, maybe surrender to the fact that this next 90 days for this particular client and 90 days of experimentation to ultimately determine the next day forward. So we're all having to get curious. We're all having to inspire the people around us to do the work that is needed to build our businesses, to scale our growth, to achieve those profit margins that we're all after, or to achieve the life that we want. And I think right now that ability to trust our intuition is more important than ever. But what are the most critical skills to be able to navigate this world of massive adaptive challenge? One of the most critical skills right now is this ability to connect dots differently, this ability to sense make. This connection piece is so much more than your network and the people around you. If we think about, let's say 2019, it was almost like we had the perfect jigsaw puzzle. We'd managed to find the corners, we'd lined up all the outside. This is how I do my jigsaws anyway. You put the outside first, corners, then outside, and then, you know, we've worked out how all the pieces fit together to create this perfect jigsaw puzzle. 2020 hit, and essentially what happened is it was like that jigsaw puzzle got thrown up in the air, and all of us, one way or another, were trying to capture the pieces and trying our hardest to remake that jigsaw puzzle, potentially trying to remake it exactly as it was before 2020 hit. When in actual fact, what we actually have to do is we've got to connect the dots, the people, the skills, the capabilities, the action plans, the decisions, the steps forward in an entirely different way to be able to navigate through this and to the other side. We've essentially got to put the pieces of the puzzle back together again to create a second picture that is just as strong, just as beautiful, but has been put back together differently. And this is why how you connect becomes so important. So if I look at 2020, you know, I look at some of my private clients that I work with and some of those individuals in corporate, you know, 2020 was tough. I had many clients that halfway through the year, you know, their revenue had absolutely tanked. They were scraping the barrel in terms of not just paying staff, but also working out how on earth were they going to keep mortgage payments up, invest in their families, put food on the table, all of that survival stuff. Many are still going through this around the world, I get that. What was even more scary was so many of these incredible business owners and entrepreneurs that I were working with hit such moments of darkness that the conversations that we were having became so much more about health and well-being, became so much more about actually ensuring that they were still going to be here, quite frankly, in 2021. And what was really interesting when we got to the end of last year, when we reached, you know, that moment in time of Christmas and resetting, every single one of them is still here in terms of their business. Every single one of them has actually started to rebuild their business. Every single one of them has had to shift and change and recreate. And every single one of them talked about how they could never have got through last year without the network of people around them. And so right now, if you as an entrepreneur have big goals and dreams for 2021 and beyond, if you are looking to build your business, to grow your business, to scale your business, if you are exploring the different strategies and different ways forward to actually go there, if you've got that big North Star, that big vision of why you're actually doing this, the reality is you can never get there on your own. And I absolutely believe that there are 3 stages of our networking effectiveness. And today I want to talk through that so that you can start identifying where you're currently at to be able to then move forward. Now, here's the thing, right? If we don't network, if we don't surround ourselves with the right people, there are a few things that happen. We become isolated. I'm actually going to pull up my iPad here because I just love having the equivalent of a pen and paper to be able to, excuse me a second, my pen is over here. It's just far easier for me to talk and draw at the same time. Those people that know me know I've constantly got to have a pen and paper in front of me. So Thank goodness for the joys of technology. Okay, so if we don't network, some of the biggest challenges that happen are we become isolated from opportunity. You know, the people that are connected, that have people around them, these are the people that seem to be aware of new ideas, collaborations come out of the woodwork, they hear about new marketing opportunities, they're suddenly appearing in PR stories. You know, how on earth did they do that? They're on podcasts, their business is growing, they're popping up left, right and centre, and you're going, how on earth did they do that? They're getting the next job. If we don't do it, that doesn't happen for us. We become isolated. And what we've got to do is we've got to replace that isolation with this opportunity to actually connect, to create the possibility, to create the opportunities for growth. The other problem that I see is that if people don't connect, don't network, they actually stay stuck. And at worst, they go backwards. And the final challenge is, unfortunately, they become irrelevant. They become irrelevant and with that, invisible. Here's my question, right? How on earth are you going to build your business? How on earth are you going to find clients? How on earth are you going to build revenue? How on earth are you going to scale if you are isolated, if you're stuck in status quo, if you're actually irrelevant, and if no one actually knows who you are? As I've said to a few of my clients this month, you know, the risk is we become the best kept secret. The best kept secret, like, you're not sharing your stuff. You're not gifting your genius to the world. You're not serving the planet, your clients, your community in the way that you know you are absolutely capable of. So networking turns, what we've actually got to do is we want to make sure that we don't end up in this space of isolation, but that we're feeling connected. It's about replacing this feeling of being stuck in status quo and moving forward with one of actual momentum and growth. And it's actually about making sure that you're not irrelevant, you're not invisible, but actually that you are visible and in demand. And I believe that the way to building connection, to driving momentum and growth, to ensure that you are visible and in demand, is fundamentally all about your ability to network, your ability to network in a high quality way. Okay, so I think there are 3 stages to your networking effectiveness. In terms of those stages, so I'm going to do 3 lines. Up here we've got the stages. Over here, I'm going to call it the energy. And over here, let's call it the risk. Let's make this really clear and stick it in red. Whoopsie again. It's Friday here in Sydney, by the way, so we're getting ready for the weekend, and once again the sun is shining. Okay, so this bottom level is what I call the ineffective level of networking. God, I'm having fun with my pens this morning, aren't we? Here we go. So this is the ineffective level. right at the bottom. Essentially, at this stage, this level, this ineffective level, is where procrastination sits. It's where you may dabble, but you really don't enjoy it. It's where, you might show up, you might turn up at an event, but if you can leave as quickly as possible, you're really happy. You might say yes to events, but you don't turn up. I actually also think in this stage 3, this ineffective level, it is those people that literally just connect randomly online through LinkedIn or Facebook without actually introducing themselves to the person that they're connecting is. It's like the swipe, 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 connect, connect, connect. There's no connection in it. It's just a random pressing of buttons. It's like the equivalent of going to a networking event and with your business cards and throwing those up in the air. There is nothing effective about randomly connecting with people on social media. At this stage, what I tend to see is a lot of people deferring action to. And essentially the energy level here is incredibly passive. So the energy level here is very passive. And the risk at this level is that we just become that word of irrelevant. You become forgotten. Ugh. Nobody wants to be there, do they? You might be nervous about how to make connections. You might be avoiding it or procrastinating because I'm shy, I'm an introvert, I really don't want to do this. You might feel maxed out in terms of the people that you already know and you just don't have the time to go out there and meet new people. And the risk is really real. Big shout out to one of my network, a lady called Tarina Allen. She's based in the US. She's the CEO of the Arvis Institute. I love her work. I've actually researched, watched, read, followed Tarina's work for years now. And last year when COVID hit, I decided to reach out to her to introduce myself to her. And as a result of that, she actually wrote a testimonial for my 3rd book, Be Brilliant. She appeared on my podcast, Unleashing Brilliance, and we regularly keep in touch through LinkedIn, supporting each other's work. I have never met Tarina in person, but I feel like I've met her. We've had some really, really, really great chats. But there was an article that Tarina wrote in 2014, actually, and it was all about, I've got a copy of it here. She was talking about this concept of job clinging. And what she was talking about in this article was she was describing individuals who stay at work, stay in the same job or the same position in the same company for 5 years or more. She described as job clingers. And what she actually suggested is that the risk that job clingers face are that they will get paid less. Those of you that may be in this position, you get paid less. Someone comes in at the same level from another company and somehow, for some reason, they've got a bigger paycheck than you are. Job clingers get overlooked for promotion and job clingers become less interesting. People that are in the same job for way too long become less interesting to management, and as a result, they risk becoming irrelevant. And this is exactly the same for this level 3, the bottom level of this networking effectiveness ladder. At stage 3, at this bottom level of this ladder, the risk is that you become irrelevant. The risk is you get isolated from opportunities. The risk is that you will go backwards in your business and in your career. The risk is that you will be forgotten. None of us want to be there. And the sheer fact that you're listening to this video and you're interested in networking and you may be part of my group shows that you're wanting to step up from there if you're not already. So as I'm doing this, have a think. Is that you? Are you there? Now, what I want to do is actually show you how we've actually got to move up this ladder. We've got to move up these 3 stages of networking effectiveness. The second stage is what I call effective. It's good. Actually, you know what? Because it is good, I'm actually going to change that from this grey, let's put it in the blue. It's effective. This stage 2 is much more active. It's much more engaged. And from the work that I've done over the years in this space, the majority of people are sitting at this level 2 when it comes to networking effectiveness. You know, they're regularly attending networking events. They've got a list of people that they can contact. They may be part of a networking group. They're actively building a contact list. They're slowly expanding their network and making contact with people and seeing some strategic growth happening. But at this level, it's very transactional. This is the level where we're networking for business leads and business growth. We're networking looking for new opportunity. We're networking unconsciously with a what's in it for me mindset. Most of us are networking at this level. You know how important it is to network. You know how important it is to know people in your industry, to know people in your organization, to know people at work, to know people of your age. You know how important it is to connect with other people. You've probably been told since the year dot that networking is important. It's a critical skill to building your business and achieving growth. And so this is where most of the people that I work with come in. You know, they've got a great network. They're very active in it, but they've realized that something's still missing. Something's still not quite fitting in. I find at this level, the biggest risk that we face is we enter into group think. Because here's what I see. We hang out with people like us. I see small business owners with small business owners, female entrepreneurs with female entrepreneurs, CFOs with CFOs, IT with IT, marketing with marketing, legal with legal, multi-million-dollar CEOs with multi-million-dollar CEOs, celebrities with celebrities. So we see rugby mums and parents on the side of the rugby pitch. We hang out with same. Now, same is good to a point, because at this effective level of networking, we've stepped up to this level because we know that we need to expand our network. And it works up to a point. It works up to a point. But the risk is when we stop learning, when we stop growing, when our thinking isn't being challenged, when we essentially are doing the same thing all the time, this is when we've got to step up to that next level. Let me give you an example. A couple of years ago, I was working with a senior exec called Alison. She's based here in Australia, and she works for one of our big property groups here in Australia. At the time when I first met her, she was looking after big retail sites, big retail properties throughout Australia. And very well connected, knows a lot of people. She truly understands the power of networking and personal development, and would invest a lot of her time networking throughout Australia, throughout industry events, building up her contact base. She had a dream, and the dream was to step up and to get to a C-suite position within her organization. And she got that. And a couple of weeks after she landed that position, we touched base. And I asked her how she was going on, and she was like, yeah, I'm busy. I'm like, yeah, I know, most of us are. And I said, what else? And she said, you know what, Janine, the weirdest thing is that I know I'm connected. I know a lot of people, and yet I feel so lonely. I feel so isolated. I just feel like I don't have the support anymore. So what we did is we looked at her network, and we looked at that network against what her goals, what her big projects were for the year ahead. And like many of us, what had happened is her career and what she actually needed next had outgrown her network. Now, it wasn't that she needed to move away from these people. It wasn't that she needed to sack everybody in her world and suddenly become invisible to those people. What it actually meant was that she had to be intentional about connecting with a group of people, a new group of people that would be able to help her at this stage of her career. People that would stretch her thinking, that would challenge her approach, that would teach her how to operate at this higher level, strategic level, that would essentially expand her brain, expand her thinking to allow her to not sit in status quo in groupthink, but actually to step to a new frontier of personal brilliance, a new frontier of growth. And I see this in so many of my clients, so many of the people that I work with, that their businesses, their careers grow to a certain level, and then something gets stuck. It's like, if I were to just draw another picture here, it's like we grow and we're happy and everything's awesome, and then something happens where we feel like we're flatlining. And this is a place of real uncomfortableness because we're feeling stuck, we're feeling isolated, we're confused as to what's next. It may be that our businesses have grown and then we hit this point where it seems to be like anything we do isn't moving forward. It could be our careers stagnate, whatever it is. And to me, this is absolutely where we need to rethink and relook at who's helping me here. Because the objective for all of us is that we want to get back on that growth trajectory. We want to get back on this place of personal growth, personal fulfillment, businesses on fire, careers scaling, all of that stuff. And so this is where we have to start exploring what's next. And the third level of marketing effectiveness is a place of what I call the next stage, the third stage, is exponential. This is a place where the energy is transformational. And essentially, this is where you are diversifying your connections. You are stepping out of your comfort zone. You are exploring how you can meet people potentially from other functions, other industries, other areas, so that you can actually explore, get curious about how you could possibly join the dots differently moving forward. It's about seeking out people who challenge your thinking, who get you to explore possibility, individuals that are different from you. It's about being able to access different skills and different ideas and different experiences. It's about a place where you can be curious about possibility versus stuck in the 7 steps to increasing my business. It's about developing deeper connections where it's not the superficial transactional conversations about business growth, but it's these deeper conversations where you're sharing your why and your vision, and you're working with people that absolutely, because they are committed to your growth, want to help you. This is where we have to invest time to engage, to effortlessly engage, where the contribution to each other, the value add to each other happens without any effort. It's about embracing the power of reciprocity and really pushing your own boundaries. And this place of exponential, this stage of exponential networking is really where massive growth happens. It's happened in my business. When I scaled my business from, starting off with absolutely nothing to being stuck in that $250,000 stage for a couple of years, to then changing the people around me so that I could actually scale my business to hit the 7 figures. As I came out of 2020, I had to once again start thinking about who do I need in my world now that is going to help me transform my business to exponentially grow me, to allow me to achieve what it is that I set out for this business, for my family, for myself. This is where we build a powerful and effective network. It works. I have seen it amongst my own private clients. I have seen it with the thousands of people that I've worked with. I've seen it in CEOs, in organizations. And even when you study the best and the brightest in your particular industry, they will all say to you, it is the power of the network around them, the people that they surround themselves with, that stretch their thinking, that hold them accountable, that push them to do more, that helps them achieve. It's that whole thing of surrounding yourself with eagles so you can fly higher. The biggest risk at this level, quite honestly, is that we achieve more than we ever thought was possible. Achieve more than we ever thought was possible. So, 3 levels of networking effectiveness. At the bottom, we have ineffective. This is where energy is pretty passive. You're trying to avoid it at all costs. You really don't like it. And more often than not, you're making excuses. I'm shy. I don't know what to say. I've already got a network. In fact, you've well and truly stepped into that blame triangle. And the risk is that you will become irrelevant in your career, in your business. The next level, which the majority of us are networking at, is one of effectiveness. We're active, we're engaging, we're strategically growing our businesses, we're building connections, we're expanding connections, we're making contact, but it's very much a place of strategic growth, and it's very transactional. This to me is absolutely, if I were to see if I can do this, this is networking. Absolutely about networking. And we have to do that effective stage. But the missing piece for the majority of people is to actually build an exponential network. And this is a place of huge growth, of huge opportunity. When you overlay the networking that you're doing with building a network of critical people that allow you to diversify your thinking, to transform your business, to inspire you to work harder, to do things differently, to leverage where you're at, to scale, to grow. This is where we're actually able to transform. So my question to you really is, where are you at? In the networking space of ineffective or effective, where essentially networking equals transactional behavior, and absolutely it's about business growth and we need it. And on top of that, as you can see, this is a journey on top of effective networking. If you can build this 3rd level of exponential network, this is absolutely where your network allows you to transform where you're currently at, and it absolutely supports your personal growth. So once again, 3 levels of networking effectiveness. Ineffective level, effective level, exponential level. What I'd love you to think about is, where are you at right now? Are you at level 1? Are you at level 1, level 2, or level 3? And depending on where you're at, where do you want to go to? And once you've made that decision, my next question to you is, how are you going to get there? The skills that we need in 2021 and beyond are ones of curiosity, are ones of intuition, and most importantly, are the one of being able to connect the dots, connect the people, connect the skills, connect the thinking, to allow us as business owners and entrepreneurs and executives to ensure that we're in a space of continued momentum and growth versus the risk of becoming irrelevant, stagnant, and at worst, going backwards and becoming invisible. Message me if you've got any questions. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and I'd love to see you over in my Facebook group, Networking Skills for Entrepreneurs. I look forward to hearing from you.